Nija Gaja Wabuk, Nui. What happened, Nui?
I broke your vase, Misho. I'm real sorry.
That's okay, Nui. Miigwech Gadebwe. Thank you for telling the truth. That is one of the 7 grandfather values. Honesty.
Hey, Misho, I have heard you mention these 7 grandfather teachings before, like respect. What are the rest of the 7?
Well, Nui, they are respect, love, truth, honesty, humility, wisdom, and courage.
Why do you call them 7 grandfather teachings?
Well, Nui, there's a story about them.
Can you tell me the story, Grandpa?
In the past, times were hard and many people died of diseases and war. Anishinaabe tradition tells us that there were 7 grandfathers who were given the responsibility by the Creator to watch over Earth's people. They were powerful spirits. The 7 grandfathers recognized that life was not good for the people. They sent their Shkabewus helper to the earth to walk among the people and bring back to them a person who could be taught how to live in harmony with creation. 6 times this spirit messenger went to earth to try and find a person worthy enough to bring back to the 7 grandfathers. 6 times the spirit messenger failed. On his 7th journey, the Shkabewus traveled each of the 4 directions. Just as he was preparing to return, he found a Pinojas, a young boy who had just been born. This Gigabe boy was innocent and hadn't yet been corrupted by the influences of the world. He was still closer to the spiritual world. His eyes and ears had not yet opened to the physical world. The Shkabewus found the boy asleep in his Tukanagan cradleboard. The Shkabewus took the boy, but left a pouch of sema, or tobacco, and a piece of the child's clothing, so that the parents would not think a wild animal had taken their child. The Shkabewus returned to the 7 grandfathers with this small child. One of the grandfathers told the Shkabewus the child was too weak and young. He wouldn't even stand the sight of them or the sound of their voices. The Shkabewus was told to take the boy back to the earth and to teach him about all creation. The Shkabewus journeyed all across Sugamukwe, Mother Earth, from one corner of the earth to the other, teaching the young man about how to survive and how to live in harmony with the earth. They even traveled into the star world. It took the Shkabewus a long time to instruct this child about the way to live in a traditional life. Herein lies one teaching. We have to take our time and teach our children the various teachings of our ancestors. We have to instill in our children the values of our people and teach them the importance of each and every day, and not to take those days for granted. The Gigabe boy was 7 years old by the time he returned to the grandfathers in the sky. The grandfathers saw them approaching and realized the boy had acquired a strong mind and natural curiosity about the world around him. As they got closer, the 7 grandfathers lodged, the boy became afraid. He realized that the Shkabewus was in fact his Jishe, his uncle. In traditional ways, a boy's uncle is often seen as a second father to a young man. The Shkabewus told the boy, "Gaggle Zagzekan, don't be scared." As they approached, the grandfathers asked his uncle if the boy was ready. The uncle replied, "Konige, he is ready." Grandfather said, "Bidegek, come on inside." As he stepped in, he noticed that the lodge door opened to the west. He had learned in his journeys that only spirits would enter from the west. Most lodges were built with the lodge opening to the east. As the boy entered, he noticed that the grandfathers were all sitting in the east. The direction his uncle had told him was for wisdom. They were dressed in beautiful clothes, and their hair was white. The grandfathers talked to the boy without even moving their lips. Their thoughts simply entered the boy's mind. They explained how the boy had been taken as a baby from his parents, and how one day they would expect him to return. The first grandfather pointed to a mkuk, a vessel that had been covered with cloth made of one of the 4 directional colors. One grandfather said that yellow stands for the east, red for the south, black for the west, and white for the north, that these colors also represent the 4 races of man that the Creator placed on the earth. The grandfather pulled the cloth back and instructed the Gigabe to take a quick look inside. The boy saw colors he had never seen, beauty which couldn't be described, and a sense of calm and peace came over the boy. He saw yesterday, today, and tomorrow, Things which could never be imagined flashed before the eyes of the boy. The first grandfather reached in the mkuk and brought out a substance on his hand, and he rubbed it on the gigabe. "I give you this gift," said the grandfather. In turn, each grandfather reached into the vessel and gave a different gift to the boy, until all 7 had presented him a gift. The boy was returned to his people with a huge shkamot bag to take back to his people. The burden was quite hard and the gifts quite heavy. The otter, Gedede, accompanied him on his journey. The otter took turns helping the boy carry the bundle. Along the journey home, the boy and otter stopped 7 times. Each time they stopped, a spirit would appear to them and explain the meaning of each of the gifts. The gifts were Dabanawan, love, Dabanawan, Wadasewan, courage or bravery, Wadasewan, Edbasindowan, humility, Edbasindowan, Gwekwadzawan, honesty, Gwekwadzawan, Wadatanmowan, respect, Wadatanmowan, Mbawakawan, wisdom, Mbawakawan, and Debwewan, truth, Debwewan. The spirits also taught the young man that there was an opposite for each of these teachings, sometimes called the 7 rats. He would need to be careful to instruct his people in a good way, so they would understand these teachings. Each time the boy and the otter stopped, they found a magish shell and would put down some sema, tobacco. Each time that they stopped, they would stay for 4 days. In the spirit world, time moved much slower than it did on earth, so in 4 days many years would pass. The boy grew to manhood and finally became an elder. As the man arrived back at his village, he saw that they were Getamaksik, poor and pitiful, and hungry for the teachings which he was bringing. He first ran into his parents, who were quite old, as he himself had white hair on his head. He told his parents that these gifts represented the power, love, and compassion of the Creator. He then proceeded into the center of the village and began telling the people of his trials and tribulations along the way. He gave them the gifts of the 7 grandfathers. Dabanawan, love. To know love in one's life is to know a sense of peace. Love is not something we demand, but instead something that is earned and given freely from the goodness of your heart. Wudatanmoan, respect. Respect is to honor our traditional values and teachings, honor our families and others, and to honor ourselves. It's also why we don't put drugs and alcohol into our systems. We have to care for the gift of life given to us by the Creator. Mbawakawan, wisdom. Oftentimes there are many teachers in our lives. Both people and animals can teach us lessons on this life's journey. Be wise enough to learn from your mistakes and remember them so that you won't make the same poor choice again. Learn our traditional teachings if you can. Sometimes this comes with great sacrifice. You may have to travel where traditional people live. Remember when you approach an elder for traditional knowledge to offer sema or tobacco, and to possibly give them a blanket or gift depending on the request. Gwekwadzawan, honesty. You have to live your life in an honest, upright way. You can't deceive others. You have to do the right thing, even when it's difficult or uncomfortable. Remember that the choices you make today affect the next 7 generations to come, and also make sure they honor the previous 7 generations. Edbasinduan, humility. Humility is to understand yourself as but a small piece of creation. You're no greater or more important than an ant. Every creature has a purpose and reason for living, just as every man or woman has a goal or reason that they were put on the earth. Strive to find that reason and then do the best you can. You have to remember to keep a balance in your life. It's okay to be proud of an accomplishment. Just don't gloat or rub your accomplishment in the face of others. Wadasewan, bravery or courage. Wadasewan. Bravery involves the way that we live our life. Sometimes it's not easy to live a traditional life. Sometimes it's not easy to face personal obstacles with our head up, even when we know the outcome is not going to be good. Always strive to make positive choices in your life, even though it might be difficult. Debwewan, truth. Debwewan. To know the teachings of the 7 grandfathers is to know the truth. Try your best to live by these standards of living. No one is perfect. The Creator knows what is in your heart and can tell when you're trying. Be true in everything you do. Be true to yourself and to your fellow man or fellow woman. Understand these teachings and use them in your daily life. He also told them that there were 7 opposites which were dangerous. He told them that there were 2 sides to everything, a physical side and a spiritual side. We have to work to develop both inside of us to live in a good way and to have menopmadzwan, or good life. The man told the people that they should listen to their dreams and fast for spiritual guidance. Suddenly the people had a new sense of hope and encouragement for a bright future. The people realized that life was a delicate balance in order to live in harmony with Sagamokwe, Mother Earth.
Neat story, Miss Show. I still don't understand those completely, like humility and courage.
Let's listen to some different people in the community to get a better idea what these mean. Mboakawan, wisdom.
To cherish knowledge is to know wisdom. To have wisdom is to know the difference between positive and negative and anticipate the results of your actions. Personal wisdom starts when you are able to listen to and use the wisdom of elders, spiritual leaders, and healers. Wisdom is given by the Creator to be used for the good of all people. Wisdom runs through and binds together the 7 teachings.
Debanawan, love.
To know love is to know peace, and to love yourself is to live at peace with the Creator and in harmony with all creation. Love is based upon affection, respect, kindness, unselfish loyalty, devotion, and concern. Love your brothers and sisters and share our greatest gift from the Creator with them. Love must be given freely from the goodness of your heart, for it is given freely to you from the Creator.
Wadatanmoan, respect.
To honor all of creation is to have respect. Show respect for the value of all persons and all things by polite regard, consideration, and appreciation. Honor our teachings, honor our families, others, and ourselves. Like love, respect is given freely from the goodness of our hearts.
Wadasewan, bravery. To face life with courage is to know bravery. Bravery is possessing the personal strength to face difficulties, obstacles, and challenges. Bravery is standing up for your convictions and doing what is right, no matter how difficult. Bravery is never giving in and never giving up. Kwekwadzowan, honesty.
Honesty is being truthful and trustworthy. It is being honest in both action and character, walking through life with integrity. Be honest with yourself first. Recognize who and what you are. Treat others honestly, in a caring and considerate manner. Honesty keeps life simple.
Edbasindowan, humility.
To accept yourself as a sacred part of creation is to know humility. Live in balance with all life. Take pride in what you do, but accept praise with humility. When giving thanks, do so in a spirit of deference or submission. Recognize and honor the equality and value of all living things.
Debwewan, truth.
To know of these things is to know the truth. Faithfully apply the teachings of our 7 grandfathers and trust in the Creator. Be sincere in action, character, and utterance. Be true to yourself and true to your fellow man. Understand it, speak it, live by it.
It was nice listening to different folks talk about what these 7 grandfathers mean to them.
So do you understand them better, Nui?
Yeah, these are the values our people hold as important.
Iai. That's it, Nui. I'm not perfect, Nui. I struggle sometimes to live up to some of these values. But like they say, the only thing perfect in creation is the Creator. I really got to work on that humility sometimes and remember to give stuff away if I don't need it. They say when you give stuff away, it comes back to you 3 or 4-fold.
Maybe this would be a place to start with giving stuff away, Miss Show.